What we do here is go back, 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 back.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Word on the Curb. Yes, 2 days in a row, 2 days of nothing but mess. I'm telling you, this state visit has been the gift that keeps on giving, and I just could not resist. I had to come back with another Word on the Curb, and let me tell you, lean in, y'all. This one right here is going to be messy. Wait to the end. Wait to the end, and I want to get y'all's opinion on it because this is what the squatties are talking about, and it is messy. It is, because if we are seeing what we think we're seeing, somebody is trying to be sly with their disrespect. So we're going to talk about that at the end, but we got to get into the mess of this state visit. But one thing I want to say before we get started is just to remind y'all of what the Word on the Curb is about. The Word on the Curb is messy, it's petty, it is filled with gossip, it is filled with rumors. And if you're not into any of that, then the Word on the Curb is not for you. And so, if it's not for you, just be a hard pass. Go on and, maybe go to someone else's podcast, because every now and then we do these kind of podcasts, is the Word on the Curb, and they're fun. I love it because I'm all about the mess. I have made that perfectly clear ever since I started this. Yes, I'm messy and petty and proud of all of it. So, like I said, if the Word on the Curb is not for you, I understand. Well, let's get started. And when you think of mess, you think of who? The horse. Who is it? I don't think it's anybody as messy and petty as the horse. And let me tell you, the squatties are zooming in on all of the mess. And I'm going to put this up. This is what the squatties are talking about. This is the messy mess that the horse is up to. At least that's what people are saying. She has control over the seating. I don't know if that's true, but look at this. It says they put both William and Kate behind the tablescapes. I was chuckling. Kate is to the left of the one that shall not be named. Yes, the way the camera angles was set up, that every shot, when it's aimed at the one that shall not be named and the trash father, they absolutely do not see Kitty Cat. Wiggy is sitting right next to the one that shall not be named, and this big this big tablescape is in front of her. Well, when you look at it from another angle, from behind Wiggy's head, then you see that Willie is behind a huge, huge flower, and he can't be seen as well. Now, like I said, I don't know if this was intentional, but every time Harry and Meghan is upstage with some kind of object, they always say that it's intentional. Y'all remember when Anne wore that big hat with that huge feather when Harry came to the coronation? Yes, and it was right in front of him. And all of the rags wrote article after article after article saying that this was intentional. Y'all remember that? And then when Harry and Meghan was at the Queen's funeral, it was something in front of Meghan and Harry. I think it was a candle. And they did the same thing again. Wrote article after article after article stating that this was intentional. This was an intentional way to be disrespectful or somehow create an obstacle for a good shot. Yeah, so if all that's true about Harry and Meghan, why would this not be true about Willie and Wiggy? I'm just saying. And that is what a lot of squatties are discussing on these internet streets. And this squatty said, denied on both camera angles. Now I'm done. No more of this. And look, the big tablescape is in front of Wiggy, and the big flower is in front. I think that's Wiggy as well. Because look, that's William's bald head right there. And then on the other camera angle, still can't see her. Still with the flowers. And it's my understanding when it's vice versa, you can't see Willie either. I don't know who absolutely planned these camera angles, if it was intentional, but like I said, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, because they clearly said that it was planned when it came to Harry and Meghan. I'm just saying. And this particular squatty posted this. These are articles that were written about Harry and Meghan. Well, at least Meghan, when her camera angle was blocked. Look what the New York Post said. Candle blocking Meghan Markle at Queen's funeral sparked conspiracy. And look, it says how Meghan Markle was obscured from TV viewers by a giant candle. Yeah, it was just like I said, that was at the Queen's funeral. Yes, and they wrote article after article after article. Same about Harry when he attended the coronation and Anne's feather on her hat. Article after article after article. But we're not to believe that this is not intentional. All of these tablescapes and flowers and everything hiding Willie and Wiggy. Come on now. This particular squatter said, mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. And like I said, the squatties think it was the horse. This squatty said, Camilla strikes again. Yes. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm willing to bet that it is true. I must say, I kind of believe that it is. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Because if anybody is petty, it is Charles and his horse, let me tell you. And I think they would have done this even if they wasn't, on the outs with the Waleses. Because we all know how jealous they are and petty they are and want to be the center of attention. So I'm sure this would have happened even if everything was good in the neighborhood. It probably would have went down the same way. Those people are trash, and above all, they are petty. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up. And this is about an article that was in the Mirror. And for some reason, they want us to believe, or they're trying to gaslight us into believing that Kitty, Wiggy, has a personality. They want us to believe that she actually is warm-blooded and not have cold ice water running through her veins like the reptile that we know her to be. But I digress. Here's the article. The title of the article is "The One That Shall Not Be Named Gushes Over Radiant Princess Wiggy at state banquet in Windsor Castle." It says American president, the one that shall not be named, gushed over a radiant and beautiful Princess of Wales during his state banquet speech. And let me tell you, she was eating it up. It's as if she hadn't heard a compliment since what? How long they been married? 14 years? Wiggy was starved for a kind word. She really, really was. She put on that fake smile of hers, and you could see all of what he was saying just washing over her. She took it in. It was something to say. It was. But yes, this is what they're writing about and saying that she was flirting with the one that shall not be named. Well, we all know what would be on his mind because he was trying to size her up and see if he could, have a shot. Because that is the way that mind thinks. He trying to see if she's so flirty, she's so nice. You think I got a shot? Yeah, and I'm not kidding. That's the way he thinks. Because let's be honest here. Back in the day before this whole thing, she knew this whole thing with Willie was going to work out. She was shopping for a billionaire and she didn't care if he was married or not. Y'all remember all those pictures with Sir Richard Branson? Yes, she was trying to get in where she fit in. And if he had came along, if his timing was a little better, he maybe would have had a shot. Because don't get it twisted, he was definitely shooting his shot. I'm just saying. And the squatty that posted this said, radiant and beautiful, laughing my A off. I'm telling you, it says, anyway, imagine having someone like the one that shall not be named gushing over you and looking at the pig, the mumbling one, the McMumbles seem to love it, hearing the words that her husband probably isn't telling her from a creep. POS, y'all know what that is. Peace, like the one that shall not be named. Exactly, exactly. She was eating it up like she hadn't had a meal. Now, she doesn't look like she had a meal, but I'm telling you, she was looking at it like she could have ate him up whole. That's what my grandmother used to say. Somebody, she looked like she could just eat him up whole. Yes, that's the way she was looking. Just could gobble him up in one bite because the thirst was showing. It absolutely was. Her desperation, her lack of affection was showing because she absolutely let it wash over her. And we all witnessed it. And I'm going to put this up. Look at this picture. Oh my God. Oh. This particular squatty just said, ick. She really thought she was doing something. She did. Oh my God. And he was sitting up there shooting his shot. And you just wait. The time is going to come when he is in a public situation where he is talking to his friends or whatnot, and it's going to come out in a book. And we are going to be able to witness that the one that shall not be named is going to say about Wiggy that he could have hit that if he wanted to. He is just that crass. He is. He is just that crass to say something like that. And she really thought she was charming him. How can you charm a pig? Because it's only a matter of time. It's going to come out in a book. Some author, some journalist is going to write about it that he said that he could have hit that. At some private party or some private setting or down there in Mar-a-Lago, he is going to say that. It is going to come out. Just sit back, be patient, because at the end of the day, he is who he is. And you cannot pretend or fake with him because he thinks it. He is that kind of man. And so he's going to say it. He is going to say it. And it's going to all blow up in her face. Look at this picture. Look at that face. His face. You think he's not going to say that? A matter of time. A matter of time. I'm just saying. All right, I'm going to put this up. And this squatty said the way that Wiglitz is maggering to MAGA is not surprising considering she was outed by Piers Morgan as the racist in that family. So she feels and looks right at home with this compared to her previous appearance. And she went all out to look and please him. Where is the lie? That's why they say that she wore that gold dress because gold is his favorite color. Why wouldn't it be? But yeah, she looked right at home. She had no problems with what has been said and what has been alleged that he has done. She was not upset by any of it. Because at the end of the day, I have said this time and time again, they're all from the same playbook. She has done just as much as any other person to scheme and connive her way to the top. And so she has respect for someone else who has done it better than her. I'm just saying. So I'm not surprised by any of this because this is who Kate is. The next time someone come in the comments and be saying maybe we should feel sorry for Kate, or maybe we're judging Kate too harshly, or maybe we shouldn't talk about Kate. This is who Kate is. She has always been this person. She's the same person who had conversations with Harry about the skin color of his unborn child. This is the Kate. She is a KK Katie. She is a racist. She is. And it doesn't matter how much you dress her up. This is who she is. And she is absolutely unapologetic about it. That's why I have no qualms whatsoever dragging her until I get tired. I'm just saying. And this particular squatty said KKK is never beating the charges. This was very much a choice. Where is the lie? And I promise you, none of this is going to age well. And the squatties will be there to absolutely indulge in how delicious it has backfired on Wiglet. I promise you, because it will. It will. And this squatty said, I'm so glad that Megan would never. Exactly. I am so glad Harry and Meghan got out of there. Can you imagine having to suffer through this? I couldn't. I couldn't. Megan is too principled. She could never, ever, ever sit down with the one that shall not be named and behave in such a manner. She couldn't. Her dignity, her self respect, her pride in who she is as a person would not allow it. But we all know the empty vessel never would ever have a qualm with it because a lot of it is who she is. I'm just saying. And we all know Kate is a racist. She was outed as the royal racist, but so was Charles. And Charles has proven that time and time again. It's a clip online, and this doesn't have anything to do with anything that I was talking about, this state dinner or anything like that. But I just happened to see this clip, and I just wanted to add it into the word on the curb. And this is a clip that came down my timeline, and it's of Charles. And every time that he has been on a walkabout and he is shaking hands and he come upon a person of color, he skips them. He doesn't want to shake hands with them. So, yes, Charles is the head of the United Kingdom and the head of the Commonwealth, which is mostly, I think, like 80% people of color. And he is a full on racist because when he thinks no one's looking, it absolutely shows. His mask slips. And if you see this clip, you'll see it is so intentional. Every time he comes upon a black person standing behind the barriers, and as you can tell, this has been a while ago because the barrier pole never looks like this anymore. And it's probably because a lot of people have saw this clip, but it is just a series of him doing a walkabout and how he intentionally always skips the person of color, even when they are small children. So, and this particular squatty that posted it said this: notice how King Charles shakes everybody's hand, but desperately tries to avoid shaking the hands of the only black person. Yes, it is a clip going around, and it's not just this incident, it's one that has several clips together where he has done this on numerous occasions. Yes, he is the royal racist, all right, and he's definitely the one that had that conversation with Harry. I did not believe it at first. I thought it was William and Camilla, but yeah, it was definitely Charles. Now, it could have been William and Camilla also, but it was Charles, and it was definitely Kitty Cat. So, absolutely, absolutely. I'm just saying. All right, I'm gonna put this up too. And looky, who was at the state dinner as well. That would be that snake Murdoch. Yes, this man is well into his 90s and he's still out here creating havoc, hate, and absolutely bellium. He is such a vile individual. And he was at the state dinner. He was. This particular squatty posted what Peter Hunt had said, and he posted Harry's statement about this snake. But I'm not going to read that. I'm going to read what the squatty said that reposted it. They said this: when Prince Harry said his conscience is clear, he meant it. His family continues to dine with the devils, rubbing shoulders with his and his mother's abusers, scums of the earth, the one that shall not be named, and Murdoch. The royals are truly a demonic force and cult. Now, I agree with everything that this squatty said. And the one shall not be named, let's not forget, he's the one who said that he could have, you know, been with Princess Diana. He said that. And he said in order for him to be with her, she would have to take an HIV test. This is what this man said. And Wiglet is just flirting with him. Like I said, it's all going to come back. Because a man that vowed to say something about a wonderful and sweet woman like Princess Diana, what he's going to say about Wiglet? I'm just saying. But he said that. He did. He said that she would have to take an HIV test. And he could have slept with her. These are the words that he said. And Willie and Wiglet is smiling in his face. But let's get back to Murdoch. Yes, they are dining with him, knowing all of the hurt, all of the abuse that he has heaped upon that family, and especially Harry and Diana. I'm just saying, it's unbelievable. But like I said, it is nothing but ice water that runs through those people's veins. They are reptiles, they are lizard people, they are not warm blooded human beings. I'm just saying. And I'm going to put this up. This is from Graham Smith. He is one of the leaders in the Republic movement, meaning Republic over there in United Kingdom means anti-royalist. And he said this, not an ounce of integrity between them. And all I can say to that is, where is the lie? Where is it? I am looking under cars and peeping around corners trying to find where is the lie. Now that right there is everything because it's nothing but the truth. And I'm going to put this one up. I'm just being messy. And this squatty was just being messy. So I'm going to put it up since this is the word on the curb. And Kitty Cat had the one that shall not be named. His cowgirl wife was out there in Windsor. They were showing her the grounds of Windsor over there where the squirrels were. And they even bust in children so they could absolutely run around and they could hold their hand and get their money shot. Just absolutely disgusting. Disgusting. But I digress. This particular squatty said Kitty, 12 years younger than the one that shall not be named, cowgirl wife, but dressed like she's 20 years older, Granny of Wales. I don't know where Kitty got this outfit, but I often think about this particular post, and I'm going to put it up. And it says, they said Megan wanted her fashion contest. I'm telling you, why would Megan ever want any fashion contacts from Kitty? She's walking around looking like the queen. She is dressed like the proper queen. I'm telling you, that's something Elizabeth would have worn. And also, she looks like she could be the one that shall not be named cowgirl wife's sister. And we all know that she is 12 years older than Kitty. But also, you have to tell the truth about it. The one that shall not be named the cowgirl wife, she's had a facelift. She has. So I don't know. I don't know if it's fair to compare the two. But yeah, Kitty looks like she could be her sister. I'm telling you, her older sister. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up. And this squatty is talking about what we were talking about in my last podcast. When Wiglet and Willie went to meet the one that shall not be named and his cowgirl wife, when they flew in on the helicopter, and the one that shall not be named and his cowgirl wife was holding hands. And so when Wiglet saw them holding hands, she switched her pocketbook and moved closer to Willie, trying to get him to hold her hand to make sure he knew it was available. But of course, Peggy was not interested in any of that. No, he was too busy trying to hold the hand of the man who shall not be named. Because he was all into it. I'll tell you one thing, the man that shall not be named can't say that he didn't get attention out of that family because every one of them was trying to kiss him in the mouth, with exception of Charles and his horse. But yes, Peggy and Wiglet, they were trying to kiss him in the mouth every opportunity they got. Yeah, really says something about him, doesn't it? I'm just saying. And this particular squatty that posted about it said, laugh out loud. The Mirror brought in a body language expert to try to gaslight the public on Kate's failed attempt to get Willie to hold her hand. Willie was too busy trying to hold the one that shall not be named's hand instead. Exactly. Exactly. And another squatty came up under this and said, never seen the one that shall not be named and his cowgirl wife actually holding hands before. Meanwhile, Piglet moved her bag in desperation for Willie to hold hers too. But Willie's not interested. Yes, and this right here is a perfect example of the squatties talking and our ability to move what is being reported in these rags, in the news media, because this was conversation that was being held on these internet streets between squatties. We were the ones talking about what she was doing. We the one who brought it to the front, was talking about it, laughing about it, having conversations about it. And look, it's an article. They monitor everything that we do and everything that we say. We have the power to move things. That is the reason why. That is the reason why they always want Harry and Meghan to denounce us, to absolutely tell us to stop. How many times have we saw articles that say saying that Harry and Meghan need to talk to their fans, tell them to stop and this and that and the other thing? Why? Because they know the power of the Sussex Squad, our ability to drive the narrative. And who wants to drive the narrative? They do. They do. So we're a threat. We are. Because here's two stories born out of what Squatties was talking about online yesterday. They're in my podcast. And look at this. They two stories being written by what we were talking about yesterday. So I always know every time you jump online, every time we talk, every time somebody makes a podcast, we are taking control of the narrative. They don't want us to have it, but we got it. And I love it. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this up. And this particular squatty said, not surprising, the Daily Fail has managed to make the one that shall not be named state visit all about Harry and Meghan. Their owners and staff needs to be added to the obsessed persons list. What is this squatty talking about? You are not going to believe what the Fail has been up to. I'm going to put this up. This squatty said, while the royal family wined and dined the one that shall not be named, the Mail dispatched its finest to haunt the upscale delis, the boutiques, and the beachside dog walking routes of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's hometown. Their goal to catch a glimpse of Meghan. Can you believe that? They have been back to Montecito when they should have been focused on this state dinner, what Kitty Cat was doing, Wiglet was doing, what Peggy was doing, what Charles and his horse was doing. No, they dispatched people to Montecito to see if they could catch Harry or Meghan doing their daily things. Yes. Just see if they were going to be out walking the dog. See if they were going to be out having dinner. See if they were just doing mundane, daily, day-to-day things. Can you believe that? I was floored when I saw this. And one of our favorite squatties, you know, the one that writes so beautifully, wrote this article about it. And the title is The Daily Fail Montecito Stakeout When Meghan's Absence Become Breaking News. Meghan doesn't even have to do anything. Meghan was minding her business, and they sent reporters to Montecito to try to get anything. They were in there talking to some vegetables, I guess, like that one-eyed Cyclops, Jan Moore. I wouldn't be surprised if she wasn't the one that they sent. I mean, it's crazy. It goes on to say, while Windsor was busy staging a £15 million taxpayer-funded fever dream for the one that shall not be named, complete with gold-trimmed carriages, French menu, and enough military fanfare to make Napoleon blush, the Daily Mail was on a mission not to investigate the obscene cost of the spectacle, not to question why a man with a long-standing friendship with J.E., was being paraded through royal halls like a fairy tale princess. No, the fair had bigger fish to fry, or rather, bigger jam jars to sniff. They sent reporters to Montecito. How obsessed can you be? How obsessed can you be? That is crazy to me. It says, yes, while the Windsors wined and dined the one that will not be named in a cosplay so lavish it could have bankrolled hundreds of food banks. Exactly. The mail dispatched its finest to haunt the upscale delis, boutiques, and beachside dog walking routes of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex adopted hometown. Their goal to catch a glimpse of Meghan buying organic strawberries or browsing self help books. They got nothing, not a sighting, not a whisper, not even a rogue marmalade purchase. But did that stop them? Absolutely not. It says instead they turned the absence into headlines. This is what the headline said. Harry and Meghan left out in the cold as the one that shall not be named and his showgirl wife wine and dine with the royal family at Windsor. Screamed the exclusive, as if Meghan choosing not to photobomb the state banquet 5,000 miles away was somehow suspicious. Exactly, just trying to drag Harry and Meghan into everything. I just knew this was going to happen. I knew that they just could not focus on the left behinds. That somehow, some way, in some twisted, converted way, that they were going to be able to try to pull Harry and Meghan into this. Harry and Meghan had nothing to do with this. They are living their lives 5,000 miles away as private citizens. And these fools got on a plane, flew to Montecito to see if they were going to see Meghan buying strawberries. Crazy. Crazy. I cannot. It says it was journalism by ghost hunt, surveillance without substance. Crazy. It says the Mail's Montecito coverage read like a prodigy of itself. Reporters loitering near jam jars, peering in yoga studios, and interrogating the absence of a woman who had the audacity to stay home and tend to her garden. And let's not forget, tend to her business. Nobody tends to their business like two women here in America. One is Beyonce and the other one is Meghan. These two women do nothing but tend to their business and seem like people always have their names in their mouths. It is crazy to me. It says back in Windsor, the one who shall not be named was living out his princess fantasy, riding pointlessly around the Windsor Castle grounds in a carriage, dining under chandeliers, and receiving what looked suspiciously like a royal thank you for keeping the e-files sealed and Prince Andrew out of handcuffs. But the Mail didn't linger on that. No mention of the 15 million pound price tag either. That is scandalous. That is scandalous to spend $15 million for 2 days and people are hungry and homeless. I cannot. It says no scrutiny of the optics, just a relentless focus on Meghan's whereabouts. Y'all, I cannot. It says this is the Daily Fail's signature move. Ignore the grotesque, inflate the mundane. Where is the lie? It says if Meghan had been spotted sipping a turmeric latte, it would have been front page news. If she hadn't, It said, if she hadn't, well, that's news too. The paper obsession is so complete it requires no news or even facts, just vibe and long lenses. Where is the lie? I mean, these people are sick. They were in Montecito trying to get some kind of shot of Megan so they could say that she was trying to overshadow the state visit. This was the narrative that they were looking for. And when they didn't get it, they still wrote this nonsense. I cannot with these people. I can't. I mean, this is crazy at this point. And this is all done for a couple that they consistently and regularly call irrelevant. I cannot. And I'm going to put this up. This squatty wrote about this nonsense and said a whole state visit, and they're still asking, what is she doing? Do you think she's watching? Is it cold in Montecito? Can she say they're left out in the cold? The last 48 hours really made me smile. What kind of insecurities are we dealing with? Do you think? Yes, I mean, I cannot. I'm not surprised they tried to drag Harry and Meghan into it, but I mean, the sickness, the level of sickness, it shows. And like I said, they are constantly telling us that these two people are irrelevant. But why do you keep sending these people to Montecito? I cannot with these people. And I'm going to put this up. And this particular squatty posted this article. Look where it says Harry and Meghan left out in the cold as the one that shall not be named and his showgirl wife wine and dine with royal family at Windsor. They literally made a story to drag Harry and Meghan into it. I cannot. This particular squatty that posted it says their minds are always on the California couple who left, even when Wiglet is in her Sunday best for the one that shall not be named. I can't. It says, anyway, I love that Peggy and Wiglet are so friendly and comfortable with the one that shall not be named. Can't wait for history books. Can't wait for history books to show all three smiling in numerous pictures and world documentaries in the future. That's what I said. It's going to come back to bite. Now, I understand that this is their role and part of what the royal family is expected to do. But the way Kitty behaved and the way Peggy behaved, woo, that is not going to age good. It's not. Charles and his horse played it perfectly. Not overly, enthusiastic. Yes, but Wiglet and Peggy, they couldn't hold back. They couldn't. And it really showed. And it's not going to age well. I'm just saying. All right, I'm going to put this up. And this is a repost. And the original post said, the Daily Fail are so desperate. They really wanted Meghan and Harry to upstage the one that shall not be named visit. They even went to Montecito to stalk Meghan and Harry. Meghan said, hold my beer, Harry. Pass me my biggest hat and let me show you how the First Lady is hiding from the UK fam. Look at this. You remember this picture of Meghan? Meghan is so unbothered. She is absolutely unbothered. These people are crazy. And the one that reposted this post said they went to Montecito. The rotor who hates Meghan and Harry, who said that they didn't need them, don't want them, hope they fail, wants them to disappear because Willie and Kitty are more interesting and important. Yeah, okay. This is so revealing and hilarious at the same time. Where is the lie? Where? Who does this? Who literally does this? Except a absolute trash organization, a rinky-dink organization, a two-bit organization that is thirsty, just absolutely still parched from the dust that Harry and Meghan continues to serve up to them. Harry went over there and gave them a drink, and now they have followed him home like a stray cat that was starving and you fed a meal to. I kid you not. It is hilarious. It absolutely is revealing. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. Here it is. This is the messiest of it all. This is the one I've been saving for last. Now, this is what the squatties are talking about. Y'all know when the whole family went to the Duchess of Kent's her funeral, right? And Kitty Cat and William was really, really uncomfortable standing out there with Charles. And this is when Kitty Cat kissed him on the cheek. And a lot of squatties were saying it was the kiss of Judas, but I digress. It was one squatty paying even more attention than that. Look at this. This particular squatty zoomed in on this picture and look at Kitty Cat's hand. Look at her hand. This squatty says, was Kate adjusting her pearls or giving Charles the finger right after curtsying? Hard to tell at this point. What y'all think? A lot of squatties are saying this is down low shade. This is down low disrespect. And this is no accident. Because who really adjusts their jewelry with that finger? I'm just saying. All right, y'all, I'm going to share some of the things that other squatties are saying, and I want y'all to give me y'all's opinion. I know this is messy. I told y'all this was going to be a real messy one, and it is messy. This particular squatty said it was as if she stepped towards him. She was putting her hand on the centerpiece when standing next to the other secret weapon and kept it in place as she walked to Charles, then dropped it. So that sounds very intentional. This squatty went back and rewatched it, and that is what she did. At least this is what this squatty saying that Wiglet did. I'm just saying. And then the next squatty said, it does look like she's giving her father-in-law the middle finger. You can see the immediate look of disgust after curtsying to him, but you won't see any of those brilliant body language experts saying anything about it. Yes, they had a body language expert to talk about how she switched her pocketbook from one hand to the other one to anticipate if William wanted to hold her hand, but nothing was said about this. And then another squatty said, you wouldn't adjust jewelry with that finger, so she's definitely giving the finger to someone. Very childish and petty, sort of a thing a common teenager would do. Y'all, what y'all think? Look at the picture now. Look at the picture. What do y'all think? And then this other squatty said, I vote for the second option. It's more realistic than the first one. And then this other squatty said, I think she was giving him the finger. Classless woman. Now tell me, y'all, do y'all think the mask slipped that far that she thought she could get away with that and nobody would actually pick up on it? Now, she don't know who she's dealing with when she's dealing with the squad, because the squad is all knowing and all seeing. And who would have thought that a squatty would have picked up on this? Y'all tell me what y'all think. But I absolutely believe it. Let me put my little 2 cents in there. I believe it. I absolutely believe she was trying to do it on the sly. Because if you watch that video, her face dropped. She was just absolutely fake and phony in Charles's face. And the minute he turned his back, her face dropped. And she had her hand in this position. Y'all tell me what y'all think. But most of the squatties that are on this thread believe she absolutely was doing it. I'm telling you, I know it's messy, y'all. I know it's messy, but one thing I want to leave y'all with. I want to leave y'all with this picture right here. Megan minding her business while all of this nonsense is going on and all of the animosity that's going on and the turmoil in that family. Harry and Meghan are no longer a part of it. Thank God that Megan can go out in her garden and mind her business. This squatty said, anyway, Megan Sussex look healthy and happy. I stand. Me too. All right, y'all. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this. I told y'all it was going to be messy. I told you it was going to be really, really messy. So y'all tell me what y'all think. Tell me what you think about all the messiness I have brought to the table. I cannot wait to hear what you say. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all a little later. Bye.